Justin Trudeau,
Thanks, Ellie.
blackface, once, twice, three times, maybe more. So Justin Trudeau under fire as more images of him in blackface and brownface rock his re-election campaign. Trudeau apologized when the first photo surfaced showing his face and hands covered in dark makeup at an Arabian Nights party in 2001. Similar photo emerged from his time in high school, an appearance in blackface that he admitted to last night, wearing dark makeup and singing Deo as part of a talent show. Now a third instance has been uncovered, a video of him in blackface from the early 1990s. Trudeau says that he doesn't know how many times he has worn blackface in his life. Let's discuss now. Wajahat Ali is here, Tim Wise as well, the author of White Like Me. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you both for joining. Last night, Trudeau said that there was only one other instance of him in blackface, but we have now seen a third. Listen to his follow-up apology today, and then we'll talk.
This is something that I deeply, deeply regret. Darkening your face, regardless of the context or the circumstances, is always unacceptable because of the racist history of blackface.
So look, he seemed upfront about, a right away and contrite, but does that new video discredit him? What do you think of that?
I don't think it discredits him, but wearing blackface once is a one time too many. And for those of you who are wondering what to wear as a costume in October, do not wear blackface. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That was free. Listen, this is a history of blackface, brownface, yellowface has been used to dehumanize and ridicule and mock the other. That's what people need to understand. This is not just us being politically correct. It's not just us being race hustlers, playing the race card and, being reactionary. No, there is a history here of using this type of makeup to dehumanize people of color in America and in Canada. I mean, I'll give you one example. Birth of a Nation in 1915, a movie that was a phenomenon, a racist movie that, by the way, brought back the Klan, used blackface. Look at the depiction of African Americans as clowns, as unruly, as savages. Breakfast at Tiffany's, they had Mickey Rooney in yellowface with big buck teeth and slanty eyes, right? An object of ridicule and mockery. And so when Justin Trudeau, a grown man, wears blackface at the age of 30 as a teacher, and also apparently did at the age of 21. Don, I'm old enough to remember I was about 20 years old in 2001 at UC Berkeley. Even then, I knew wearing blackface and brownface was a bad idea. And what I really want from him, I appreciate his contrition, I appreciate his apology. The question we should be asking is, why did he not know this was wrong, and how come nobody else told him? And the answer to that question will bring us to a conversation this country doesn't want. Systemic racism.
You know why. Tim, I'm sure. Go on. Take it away.
Well, I don't believe that he didn't know it was wrong. I think the bigger problem with these incidents is that it's not just sometimes overt racism. Sometimes it is. We see these incidents on college campus, for example, where folks have ghetto parties on MLK Day and they put on blackface. That's pretty blatant. There's no subtlety there. I don't think that's what Trudeau's guilty of. I don't think that's what a lot of cases are. But what they are about is white folks, whether it's in Canada, the US, or in Europe, where these things have also happened, who have so little regard for the life experiences and the history facing black and brown folks that they just sort of know it's wrong. They sort of know it's more than just transgressive. They know it's more than just edgy. They know it's offensive. And at the end of the day, they go, yeah, but it's Halloween or it's a party. Here's the message that I think folks need to understand. It's one that I understood by the time I was 5, but maybe my parents are better than some parents. And the lesson is this: blackness is not a costume. Indigenous Americans, they're not characters to be played either. You don't just put on someone's hair or makeup or skin color as a costume. These are people with lived experiences. And whether you're doing it to intentionally denigrate or you're doing it because you have the privilege of being stone cold ignorant to the reality of other people's lives and still be called educated, whichever one of those it is a problem. We've got to do better. I mean, the contrition is necessary, but we as a culture better ask why it is that white folks in North America and around the world are allowed to be this stupid and still be considered leaders, still be considered intelligent, still be considered educated enough to graduate high school, let alone college. It's unbelievable to me.
Hello, everyone. Let's talk about blackface.
Mommy, Mommy, the sun shines east, the sun shines west. I know where the sun shines best.
Blackface is a kind of makeup, for example, burned cork or grease paint, which is used to make someone look like a black person. So the question for this video is blackface racist? Well, first we have to define that word. Racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior.
Blackface.
Blackface. America is not new to scandals about blackface.
Blackface minstrelsy had tremendous power, and the whole idea of objectifying a person and taking away their humanity and reducing them to stereotypes and images and making fun of them is a painful experience for those people who are the subject of this kind of treatment.
I'm coming. Oh, God, I hope I'm not late.
There was a controversy on The Real Housewives of New York with Luann, as she dresses Diana Ross, and she made her skin look darker than it really is, and people said that that was racist. And I don't know, I felt like, who doesn't love Diana Ross?
I think it's going to take some time to move past it. These are just isolated instances that we know on a wide public scale. This history and the prevalence of this history is widespread, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to engage in those dialogues that use blackface minstrelsy as an example of how race has functioned in this society and how it continues to curtail us for really treating each other fairly and responsibly and championing equality for all.
I take responsibility for my decision to do that. I shouldn't have done it. I should have known better. It was something that I didn't think was racist at the time, but now I recognize it was something racist to do, and I am deeply sorry.
A Pennsylvania college has suspended 2 of its students for what the college's president called a hurtful, offensive act. In a series of racially insensitive videos posted on Snapchat, a female student from Albright College appears to be wearing a mud mask, but flaunts it in a disparaging manner as blackface makeup. In one of the videos, she calls herself Carlisha. Her name is not Carlisha. Filmed by another female student, the 2 girls are heard laughing hysterically throughout the demeaning videos. The student portraying a black person then proceeds to mock Black Lives Matter, saying, "Black Lives Matter now, okay? F white people." She closes her comedic interpretation by stuffing the back of her pants and twerking to hip-hop music. According to officials, multiple students of multiple races were involved. In a statement issued by the college, the 2 girls directly involved expressed deep remorse and voluntarily came forward to report their actions. They were ordered to leave campus immediately. Their future at Albright College is under review pending further investigation into the incident. In his condemnation of the girls' actions, Albright's president added that we hope to use this as a learning opportunity to continue educating all members of the campus community. This is not the first time college students have been reprimanded for similar acts of racism on social media. 2 Kansas State University students were expelled for blackface last month.
With the situation happening with Justin Trudeau with the blackfaces, that's things have been popping up.
I think it's insulting. I think it's offensive. I think that if he wanted forgiveness, he should have said that when he was running the first time. He knew then he had done it. And now he's saying he did it more than once. I think that you can't have different rules for different people. I took the same position against the governor in Virginia.
Virginia politics into a crisis. So just where did blackface come from, and why, after nearly 200 years, is this still an issue? John Avalon has your reality check.
Look, I get that William Faulkner warned us that the past is never dead. It's not even past. But why in the world are we still bedeviled by something as stupid and cruel as blackface in 2019? In the past we've seen Virginia Governor Ralph Northam resisting basically universal calls for his resignation after his medical school yearbook page was discovered showing someone in blackface next to a guy dressed as a member of the KKK. Then, in one of the worst press conferences in modern political history, the governor said he'd won a dance contest as Michael Jackson after applying shoe polish to his face. Not only that, this week, Virginia's Democratic AG Mark Herring copped to wearing blackface at a college party in 1980 while trying to apparently look like Curtis Blow. And then we found out that Virginia's Republican Senate Majority Leader Tom Normand edited 1968 Virginia Military Institute yearbook loaded with blackface, Confederate flags, and other racist tropes. It's been a big few months for belated blackface awareness. After all, Megyn Kelly torched her NBC gig after a cringeworthy conversation in which she couldn't quite get why blackface was bad. And just yesterday, Gucci was forced to pull a $900 sweater off the shelves because, well, just look at it. So let's do a Racism 101 reality check on blackface. You know the phrase Jim Crow? It was a common term for segregation laws that tried to roll back the results of the Civil War and resist civil rights for almost a century. But you might not know that Jim Crow was the name of a popular minstrel act in the 1800s, which was performed in blackface. And that's just an indication of the foundational pain, the institutional racism that's beneath what some people apparently think is a party trick. In these past few days, a clip from the Spike Lee film Bamboozled has been circulating online, and it shows some of the legacy of blackface in American culture, from the KKK celebrating the birth of a nation to black and white comedies, cartoon icons, and even musicals starring celebrities like Judy Garland and Bing Crosby. This was a reflection of the segregated times they lived in and the culture they inherited. But even with generous discounts for youthful idiocy, there's really no excuse for perpetuating blackface in 1984. What we're seeing now is how much the scars of our history persist, often perpetuating hate under the more comforting labels of hair.
Now to that new trouble for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. A picture of him wearing dark makeup dressed as Aladdin at a party in 2001. Trudeau himself now calling it racist and apologizing. Terry Moran has more on all this for us. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Robin. Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is a proud progressive. He's emphasized inclusiveness and tolerance as Prime Minister of Canada, but now he's just the latest politician caught up in an episode from years ago where he darkened his skin for fun, blackface, and he's in a tight election.
The controversy erupted overnight, forcing Justin Trudeau to speak out and try to explain taking questions on board his campaign plane.
In 2001, when I was a teacher out in Vancouver, I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights. And I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on. I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better, but I didn't. And I'm really sorry.
It was Time magazine that uncovered the 18-year-old photo from a yearbook at West Point Grey Academy in Vancouver, where Trudeau was teaching when he was 29 years old.
Moments ago, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau publicly apologizing for a series of racist photos and a video showing him wearing dark face makeup. That video shows Trudeau in the early 90s. It was obtained by CNN partner Global News. A reporter received the video from a source within Canada's Conservative Party. Now, Trudeau, of course, is part of the Liberal Party. National elections are just weeks away. The photo that ignited all of this is this one you see here, taken in 2001. That was published by Time magazine. This is from a yearbook at the school where Trudeau was teaching at the time. He was dressed as Aladdin at an Arabian Nights themed party at that private school where he was a teacher. The other that has surfaced, a high school yearbook photo. This was obtained by CNN partner CTV, which shows Trudeau portraying African-American civil rights activist and actor Harry Belafonte in a school play. Today, Trudeau saying he realizes he has deeply hurt people.
I recognize that it is something absolutely unacceptable to do. And yeah, I appreciate calling